Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. It's mid-April 2020 and we have a new feature added and working to the RIO's point of view in the F-14B. What we've got working now is TWS Auto. We've always had TWS Manual, but TWS Auto is now working. Now, if you have a non-human RIO, i.e. a jester, and you are the pilot, TWS Auto has always worked basically because Jester took care of it. But if you have a human RIO, we now have the functionality for TWS Auto working. So what is it? TWS Track While Scan is a type of mode that the radar can be in that allows us to track multiple targets and fire at multiple targets. Now, with the old method of TWS Manual only working, it meant that if we were tracking a target or multiple targets, we had to aim the radar ourselves manually to make sure that that hostile stayed in our scan zone. Aim it up, aim it down, aim it left, aim it right, widen it, squeeze it and whatnot. With these guys down here. That was very hard to do. With auto mode now working, what that means is that any tracks that are on our TID here within the scope of our TWS, the computer will automatically basically turn these knobs. I'm not sure if it actually physically turns these knobs, probably not, but it does the effect of, for instance, elevating up and down and azimuth, center, left and right, and elevation in bars and azimuth, scan width in degrees and so on. It does those things to configure so that any tracks that we're tracking in our TWS will stay in our scan zone. So that's a really important piece, probably maybe the most important piece of the puzzle added to the RIO's perspective of the F-14B, which is why I'm trying to drum it in. We're going to use the simplest case we possibly can to explain this to you in an example. We've got an F-14B here. It's got an AI pilot and a human RIO, which is me, F-15 here that's flying towards us very high at 46,000 feet. So if we start to begin with in TWS Manual, we can see that the track is not populated. We've not found the guy on our radar. Just check all our settings. Range 100, attack, radar's on, and we can't see him because he's out of our scan zone, probably above it. So what we're going to do is manually elevate our radar up, something like that, and there he is. He's populated, something like that. What we've done, we've manually tilted our radar upwards like that. So he is now at 46,000 feet in our scan zone. If we drew a plumb down at a certain range, we could see that the upper part of our scan zone would be 86,000 feet, the lower part would be 18,000 feet, and he's around 46,000 feet. So you can just tell that he's within our scan zone now. Now, as he gets closer, bearing in mind he's much higher than us, with TWS Manual, we would have to physically, with that knob there, tilt our radar up further and further and further to keep tracking him. If we didn't, then he would lose. He would have a cross through him, he would go into memory mode, and then we would lose him after a few seconds. As well as that, is if he cranked left or right, I would have to then turn it whether it is left or right, or if two of them were tracking and they split, then I would have to use this here, and so on, to keep track of them. Very, very complex thing to do in a dynamic situation. And if we unpause for a little bit, you can see that this number is not changing when on TWS Manual. The only way it's going to change is if I change it with these knobs. Now, let's go over to TWS Auto and see what that's supposed to do. And what that's going to do is it's understood that there is a track there, and it's going to adjust our scan zone up, down, left, right, width, whatever, as it needs to on the fly. So let's watch that happen. And what I would do is scroll forward just to explain. You can see already it's changing our scan zone. It's tilting it up. That's now topped out at 99,000. That's up at 42,000. So it's tilting up, up to track this guy. And that's literally it. We'll go up until we hit the vertical bump stops. 43, 44, 45. And you can see up. I think that might be degrees there. It's a while since I studied this, but you can see that increasing as well. So that is the basis of the newly working function of TWS Auto in the RIO station, why you pretty much should use it. The other thing is to show that if we fire a missile in, well, for instance, if I go into TWS Manual here, it will automatically switch to TWS Auto once the missile is fired. Again, just to reduce workload on the RIO. And let's try that. So let's go back to TWS Manual. Let's fire a missile. Missile away. And you can see it's automatically put itself in TWS Auto, so I no longer have to worry about touching my knobs here to keep the target within the radar. Simple as that, guys. So really important piece of information. I hope I've got that through. Hope that was useful, and see you later.